Chase Thomas podcast. My nephew needs me to record. See, I already hate it. I hate it.
All right, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Chase Thomas podcast, where I'm still the aforementioned Chase Thomas, coming to you live from Knoxville, Tennessee, Everything School HQ. Joining me down there in Decatur, Georgia, my good friend, fellow University of North Georgia alumni, Matt Green, is here. Matt, good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, sir. It is good to be back with you after a very exciting rivalry week. Easy for me to say.
It was certainly a rivalry week for all of us here in East Tennessee. It was certainly a weekend of college football. There was football that did happen in the state of Tennessee on Saturday night that we'll get to here in a bit. But yeah, it was one of those where I filed my story on sportsrenaissanceman.com, and I woke up Saturday morning and wrote again because I didn't have a good feeling about it. I would not have picked Tennessee if the game was in Nashville. Everything about this matchup was like, man, this is the best offense Tennessee's played since Georgia, and there's just a lot of red flags I had coming into this game, but it's in Neyland. Like, Tennessee has before this season, one loss, before going all the way back to the start of the 2022 season inside Neyland Stadium outside of Georgia. So it's still wild to say that Tennessee lost 3 home conference games this season. So we'll get into more about what happened with Tennessee, but a lot of great football. I watched I had forgotten, rivalry week is the best week of the college football season. No question. Like, it's one of those where it's just, there's so many good games from the beginning of the day to the end. Like, even when there are interims, even when some of these games really shouldn't be great. Auburn, Alabama.
And you had the Friday stuff too.
Yeah. I mean, I will say I was right, and I still will maintain the Egg Bowl being on Friday at noon is terrible. No juice whatsoever. It's a Thursday night game, or Texas A&M needs to be Thursday night. I don't care if y'all alternate every year, but there needs to be a Thursday night game between the two of them, preferably the Egg Bowl, though, because like I said, there's just something really nice about wrapping up a day with the fam and then getting cozy and curling up with Ole Miss and Mississippi State. I missed it this year, and I miss it every year that it's not back. But it was just such a great week of football, even if things did not go how I would have preferred with the Tennessee Volunteers.
Bengals Ravens didn't do it for you?
Bengals Ravens was not good for me, I would say. That did not work.
I don't know, man. I love the triple header on Friday. I mean, you also had Arizona State was a Friday one. Like, there were so many games. I don't know. I was loving it.
The triple header is fine, like I said. Well, we'll get into the Georgia side of things, because one of my notes I was just jotting down was the 10 million worth it? Was the 10 million really worth it, Georgia Tech? Because you just see a sea of red and black. It's a neutral site game, and then Georgia fans now have to play in Atlanta back-to-back weeks. It's just kind of that game had no juice.
Well, that's not an issue for Georgia Tech, though. I mean,
right. I'm just saying, it was just, that game sucked. It sucked to watch. It sucked to experience watching from the TV. Like, as I'm sitting here and I'm like, this just neutral site games. And what's funny is, neutral site games do work inside. Obviously Georgia, Florida is always a strong neutral site game. Oklahoma, Texas is a great neutral site rivalry game.
Because
Mercedes-Benz is a terrible venue for a neutral site, and Georgia overwhelmed Georgia Tech in that game. So you're like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
It's not a terrible place for a neutral sided game. Like, you see the SEC championship.
Well, no, rivalry game, I guess I should say.
But yeah, I mean, it's just those other neutral sided games you're talking about are the tradition, So it's like college football is just so much about what makes it great is the tradition. And, seeing Georgia Tech and Georgia play in an NFL stadium that's just not what you want. Also, with how that game went, I mean, I imagine a nice home crowd at Bobby Dodd, you got some momentum third quarter, like things start to maybe roll your way, but there wasn't like ever a time where they like truly get it really felt like they had the momentum, because there was a
No.
time where they kind of had the momentum in this game, second half, but that crowd plays a huge factor, or lack thereof. I
It would
honestly
have helped being at home for sure.
And I honestly didn't realize till after the game, because like Mercedes-Benz like Twitter account was like tweeting stuff that was a too pro Georgia, I guess, for Georgia Tech fans. Like, you remember who this is a home game? I'm never buying Mercedes-Benz. I don't know. Like, people were making, and I was like, I totally forgot about that. Like when they played in Ireland a couple years ago, that those both end zones said Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech's logo is at midfield. This is the same deal in this one. Like, it was a Georgia Tech home game. It wasn't neutral site, but yeah, you could have fooled me by the vibes in the stadium.
Whew. Well, Matt Green.
Well, hold on. I was gonna say one thing before you move on about the rivalry week thing. I had this kind of realization earlier today, because we talked about there's those few slates where you have a full SEC, everyone's in action, no one's playing cupcakes, just everyone's playing each other. Like, that gives us 8 games. But on rivalry week, we have like 10 games. We get like 6 SEC games, and then a few other SEC games playing a big time rivalry game. So they're not cupcakes. So we're getting like, 10 legitimate SEC action, games of action. That's why I honestly feel like you needed the Friday. So that, I don't know if you have enough bandwidth on television to put all of them on TV on Saturday. Like, you almost needed the Friday triple header.
Well, Matt Green, it was a great weekend overall. Like I said, I hope you had, and I hope everyone, all of our listeners listening and watching, had a great holiday week, I should say. And now we're in conference championship week, and there's going to be some gigantic games. I mean, the ACC, Duke wins. Does the ACC get left out of the college football playoff altogether? It's possible. I'm actually kind of surprised they're not doing the clause that Ohio State got into the Big Ten title game in 2020 to get Miami in there, because you have this 5-way crazy tiebreaker.
Do you know the justification for what they did in 2020? I saw someone tweet that earlier today, and I wasn't sure. I feel like I remember something like that, because I only played 6 games or something. But do you know the details?
I don't remember in particular. I just remember that was part of it. It was like they did get a little bit of a jolt in there into the Big Ten title game. But hey, there is a precedent for it. And again, it's better for the ACC if Miami is in that ACC title game. But the line's like 2.5 or something low, where it's like, but again, these bloated conferences where not everybody plays everybody, and this is what you're in. You don't have divisions anymore. You have bloated conferences. Like, you did this to yourself. You might get left out of the college football playoff, Atlantic Coast Conference, because you have an odd number. You're too big. You're all over the place. And now you have these 6-way tiebreakers where your best teams are going to get potentially left out and not represent your conference because you didn't have any foresight. Like, I don't really feel bad for the ACC at all. You did this to yourself.
You know what they should have done? I don't know. Maybe it's too late. I'm sure it's too late. Is they have this little agreement with Notre Dame. It feels like Notre Dame should be a tiebreaker. It's like, well, we got a couple 2-loss conference teams, but one of these teams beat Notre Dame in one of their ACC, and then like their 5-6 game ACC schedule, whatever Notre Dame plays. I don't know. It's like almost that should be something, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like it was one of the first things I thought, and you probably thought, like, when they went to these super conferences, it's like, well, how are we determining who plays in the SEC championship, in the conference championships? And that appears to be the last thing that some of these people thought. The SEC's been fine for the first 2 years, but at some point, it's like this was going to be a year where it got a little crazy. A&M getting in, didn't play Ole Miss, didn't play Georgia, but like in the end, it kind of all worked out, and it at least makes sense to everybody. But the difference in strength of schedule within the conference is it's out of hand in these huge conferences now.
It's a mess, Matt Green. Well, let's start with the dogs here. we're talking a lot about them here from this Friday afternoon game. What takeaways did you have from Georgia winning and ultimately punching their ticket to the SEC championship game, where they get to go right back to Mercedes-Benz here on Saturday to face the Alabama Crimson Tide for their second meeting this season? But what did you take away from Georgia's win? Because it felt like both fan bases were frustrated with their offense, whether that was the Georgia fans with Mike Bobo, and then Georgia Tech fans with Buster Faulkner later on. Shout out to my guy Buster, Part B forever. But I think the other big part that I would be remiss not to mention here at the top when we're talking about this is I think the biggest issue potentially is that Drew Bobo went down, and you might not have him for the rest of this postseason run, it looks like. So that's a big loss. Losing your center on the fly this late in the game is not ideal.
Yeah, and Drew Bobo has been one of the best centers in college football, depending on who you ask, this year. So that'd be a massive loss. Obviously, just what he does anchoring that offensive line. But yeah, I mean, if you want to take the positives first, like this Georgia Tech offense has been, pretty elite all season long. Haynes King, how many games he had where he's throwing for 300, running for 100, holding him to 10 carries for 39 yards, 181 yards, no touchdowns and a pick, and holding Tech without a touchdown on the day. Like, all of that is good stuff. Like 23 for 69 Georgia Tech had on the ground. Like, this is one of the top running games in the entire country. So that was pretty massive. So the defense has definitely taken strides down the stretch of the season with this performance versus Tech, performance versus Texas. But this offense on Saturday was something like we really haven't seen all season. Like, anyone who was worried about what Georgia's offense was going to look like in 2025, that looked like the worst case scenario of what you thought Georgia. Yeah, it might be able to run the ball, but I don't really trust Gunner to like air it out or whatever. Too conservative, whatever you want to call it. Like, the offensive performance was just really strange. Like, we hadn't seen them play like that all season. Like, I even texted my brother, like, I don't know, third, fourth quarter, like, is Gunner Stockton hurt? Like, are we going to find out like he's injured or something? Because like the way you were sitting at like 3rd and 11, it's like, let's just run it here, try to pick up 7 or 8. And it's like, I don't know. It's just very weird the way Georgia kind of called this game. I mean, 11 for 21 for 70 yards. The interception he threw early was probably the worst play he's made all season. Like, the decision, it's like, it's a tight window if you're trying to make that throw. The decision was questionable, and the throw was even worse. So you've seen that, kind of those over the middle, like that's 2 or 3 games in a row. The Texas one threw one against Charlotte a week ago. So throwing an interception in 3 games in a row, that's not ideal, especially that's kind of the opposite of what Gunner's been most of the season. So obviously in the Texas game, he still played great with the interception. But yeah, I mean, you can be encouraged by, Nate Frazier's really taking his game to the next level, another 100-yard game for him. But yeah, Gunner Stockton, very strange performance, I thought, from this offense. Like, Georgia has had these games in years where they've won national championships, like the 16-6 to Kentucky in 2022 comes to mind. But and it's a rivalry game. This game obviously means a lot to Brent Key and Georgia Tech and everything. Weird things can happen. But I will say I guess maybe the Iron Bowl leveled me out a little bit. But I will say I was more confident in Georgia being the best team in the SEC before this game than I was after this game. It's like, if they have another performance next Saturday like this, I don't know how good this team is. But obviously, Alabama didn't necessarily have a great performance against a 5-6 win Auburn team either. So Georgia Tech is a solid team. Maybe I'm not giving them enough respect, but I think I was prepared for Georgia to kind of win going away. Like a 7-point win, I think if it was 42-35, I don't think Georgia fans would have really worried about that. Like, yeah, you don't want to give up 35 to Tech, but what this offense has been this season, it wasn't going to shock you to give up 35 points to a team who has a Heisman candidate at quarterback, But 16-9, like I said, maybe you can you can take the positive that the defense held a big time offense to just 9 points, but really without Zachariah Branch, this offense doesn't do anything. Gunnar had 70 yards passing. Zachariah Branch had 53 of them. Like, he was Georgia's entire passing game on Saturday. So, or on Friday, I should say. But yeah, that's probably my biggest take. I don't know. I'm not too low, but not as high as I was prior to that game.
Yeah. Well, Bama on Saturday. So that's official. And those games are always normal and good for Georgia fans inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yeah, and we've just seen this now, I don't know. I would say probably since 2021. Just a lot of Alabama teams since 2021 that just look beatable, look flawed in a lot of the games they play against big time competition. And when they play Georgia, they seem to play their cleanest, most complete game of the season each time. So I don't know. I would say without a doubt, the Georgia game was their best performance so far this season. So I mean, that's probably the best win in college football, I guess, right? I mean, Georgia's the highest ranked one-loss team, so I guess their one loss would be like the best win. No one's beaten Indiana or Ohio State. So, yeah, it's what is the fifth time Georgia and Alabama faced in the SEC championship? Bama's 4-0 in those games to this point. So we'll see. Although Kirby Smart is undefeated in rematches, sir. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but
I do appreciate that he does like some of the stuff where he's talking about like the whole scared guys when you play scared with injuries and everything else. But I also think I'm like, well, I get what you're saying, but ultimately I disagree in some ways, like you just lost Drew Bobo here and like you don't want to lose Gunner in the SEC title game. You saw how losing Carson Beck last year changed things a little bit for your team with the extra games, like the extra mileage. I understand that is out of your control and injuries happen whenever, wherever, like you can't play scared that if we play this amount of snaps or this whatever, but I think it's fair to be cognizant of it. I think it's fair to be like, yeah, we'd like to play less. We would, because I think wasn't it Jim Tressel who came out saying that like Ohio State missing the Big Ten title game last year, giving them that extra rest and time to get their minds reset and everything else going into the playoffs was like a big deal. I think that's what I saw in a story like a couple days ago where
but
it just
was it a big deal for Tennessee? It's like I feel like you can spin that however you want.
But that's my whole point is I think people went really strong one way and it's like, I don't know. Because yeah, like you said, there are some people who believe the long layoff is worse because you lose some momentum. Some are like, it's great. We get healthy. We can get ready to go, that sort of thing. So I don't know. I understand both sides, but it was interesting to me that people really do have that appetite for Kirby's mindset, which you appreciate. Like, I think that's a good mindset to have, but I will generally subscribe to less games is more, or not even less games, less snaps is better than
but
more
in terms
snaps.
of in reference to what, to Drew Bobo playing?
Yeah, I mean, just your bit like
I mean, you won this game 16-9. It's not like this was some sort of cupcake.
No. I'm saying, and now you have to play in another game, and you're like, I'd rather just have some time to get my other guys healthy. Like I just lost my center.
Yeah.
I'd like to use that week to practice and get our new center acclimated. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I think it would be, I understand the SEC title game means. I'm also someone who wants to cancel all of these conference title games. Like they didn't always exist. We added the SEC title game in the 90s. Like it's not something that has to be part of the sport. And again, as you expand the playoff, and if we go to 16 next year or whatever, it's like, we don't need to do this. I'm okay. Like I would be more energized about turning this into that play-in game weekend. Like I think if we turn this weekend to a play-in game type deal where you have two games or whatever for the last couple guaranteed automatic SEC and Big Ten spots or whatever, I think that'd be a lot more fun and interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I just, there's not a right answer because we don't have all the data. We don't 100% know, but we do know in the NBA that the pace and speed and the amount of possessions and everything else, there's just a lot more wear and tear. So it's like more game, like playing back to back, the pace that they now play at is worse on your body. Like, so less wear and tear, I just will subscribe to, is better for your guys. Especially, it's like we know who Georgia is. Like Kirby, we know your team can win the title. Like you're in a really good spot. I don't know. I'd rather heal up.
I just don't know. I don't know how you're supposed to approach it any other way,
True.
because if a guy's healthy and he's not playing, it's like, what message does that send to the rest of the team? Like, I always think that in preseason, like in NFL games, it's like, obviously that's more of a business, and I guess college football is a business too. But like, if you're healthy and you're not playing, it's because we really value him. You're kind of borderline injured, but like, yeah, you can play, whatever. Like, we don't really care about you, but this guy we really need him to be 100% for the next game. It's like, if you can play, you can play. It's like, if you're available, you play, So, and someone like Drew Bobo wanted to play in that game. So, I mean, and his thing also was his fingers, like cut his finger on a Texas player's like shoulder pad or something, like almost sliced it off or something. And it was a foot injury or an ankle injury that he actually got injured in the Tech game. So, I think it's football, and injuries are going to happen. I don't think you can play scared. Like, yeah, if a guy's not healthy, like Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate are battling an injury or something, yeah, maybe they sit out the Toledo game or whoever they played last week before Michigan. Yeah, it's like, that makes sense. But yeah, I think this is an important game. Like, if Georgia loses this game, they become a 2-loss team, and I don't know that they're guaranteed to make the playoff. Like, they probably still were, but there was some kind of craziness, and there's a lot of chalk. A lot of teams winning. Like, maybe we start splitting hairs. Alabama's got a head-to-head over Georgia. All those sorts of things. Like, Georgia could have been left out. So it's not like this game was just inconsequential. You get it. You know what the word is for Georgia. But yeah.
Well, Matt Green, we'll see how things go with the Bulldogs and the Crimson Tide inside Mercedes-Benz on Saturday. I will say the other final point I want to say. The Aflac whatever, they were trying to rebrand.
Invesco.
What was it? Invesco, whatever.
Atlanta Gridiron Classic or something.
Just diabolical.
They threw a lot of words in there.
Just diabolical stuff. Not only are we doing the neutral site, but we're pretending that this has this name now.
This rivalry doesn't already have a name?
Like, it's just insulting to the viewer at home.
Yeah, it's like the cocktail party. It's like, this isn't the war for the ore. Is that what is that the Florida State? What do they call it? Some sort of river. I don't even know. I don't know what they try to call Georgia, Florida, because it's nothing other than the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. It's like, you can try to call things whatever you want. They already have names. Like, was it Will's Tower in Chicago? It's like, no, it's the Sears Tower. It's always been the Sears Tower. It always will be the Sears Tower.
I didn't know they changed it.
Yeah, I think they changed it like a decade ago, because I think people are like, no, I'm not going to call it that.
Was it Sears?
The Office. Andy comes back. He's like, it's Drew now. It's like, I'm not going to call you that. Like,
it's true. I still call.
What'd you say? What was your question?
Was it Sears for the brand, like the business Sears? Was that why it was called that?
Honestly, I have no idea. It may be.
I don't know either, but like I have blind brand loyalty to Heinz Field. Heinz Field should never have been changed, or Staples Center. Crypto.com arena.
The one I always go back to is the Nokia Sugar Bowl.
Yeah,
it's like, that one just sounds normal to me, but that was just a normal brand. But yeah, I'm with you. I saw that the other day. I don't think I realized that till this year. Pittsburgh. It's like a brand I never even heard of either. Whatever they're calling it now. It's like, this is Heinz Field. Like, that may have been a corporate sponsor already, but it was my corporate sponsor. It was one that made sense to me. And it's also like the family involved and stuff too.
You could do the ad for Heinz. Heinz ketchup. Reach out, Matt Green.
I couldn't. I'm not a ketchup guy. They don't want me.
They do very minimal other stuff.
Very minimal ketchup in our household. That's true. They got other stuff going on.
Yeah, I'm not a big ketchup guy. I'm more of a mustard guy. Well, Matt Green, I did struggle because my wife and I went to breakfast this morning out for brunch, and I never really get chicken and waffles, but I wasn't certain how people do chicken and waffles, because I was like, well, do you get sauce on the side, or do you put syrup on the chicken because I don't want to do syrup on the chicken. So do people eat the chicken plain? What do you
True.
actually do? What is the so
I think get a
I
little
got some
syrup on
barbecue
the
sauce.
chicken.
That sounds gross to me. I don't want syrup on my chicken.
But you're eating with the I don't know with the waffle and the syrup. I think I get a little syrup on that chicken.
No, I kept them in the spots in the waffle. You know, they're little homes. You sprinkle a little bit in each of those little divots, and you fill them up. And
So
then you
would
go to
you put barbecue sauce on a waffle?
no on the chicken. Like I separated the two on the plate. So I had the
Okay.
waffle side, and then I had the chicken side, and I had a
Okay.
cup of barbecue sauce.
So
on
you
the
just
chicken
like ate waffles while like eating chicken tenders. You didn't eat chicken and waffles.
I think that's what we're learning here. But that is ultimately, I think, what happened. But maybe I just figured something out that I'm not a chicken and waffles person.
That's hilarious. I don't know where we go from there.
I wonder if I
but
got some judgment from that.
yeah, they're like, who this toddler that's sitting at the table eating waffles with his chicken tenders.
What can I say? What can I say? I was in over my head.
Also, the Steelers stadium is called Acrisure Stadium.
I'm not calling it that.
I don't know what that is. I'm not gonna look it up.
Tennessee goes down to the Vanderbilt Commodores, in-state rivals, here on Saturday night inside Neyland Stadium for their third home loss. They finish 8-4 on the season. 45-24 was the final in this one. Matt Green, I think, 28 or 24-3 second half run for the Vanderbilt Commodores in this one. They were tied at the half, 21 apiece, but the middle eight, not kind to Tennessee, where Vanderbilt was going to be held to a field goal and then a bad personal foul. Calling third down, gives Vanderbilt a first down off a roughing the passer.
That seemed like the moment the game changed. After that personal foul, like from that point on, Vanderbilt basically dominated the game, right?
So in some ways, so this is one of the things I was actually in the Thomas family group chat, and my dad and I didn't agree with this because I think he was harping on this too. Obviously it was an important point in the game. Like Tennessee would have held them to a field goal instead of a touchdown. That would have been better for Tennessee to go into the half with the lead. The problem with this thinking, in my opinion, is that every single possession in the second half, Vanderbilt scored on. Vanderbilt scored on every possession in the first half that Diego Pavia did not throw an interception on. So the defense was not getting stops outside of those Diego Pavia interceptions that were his own doing. Just
You're
pushing
not
the
giving
ball
the
downfield.
defense credit for those?
Say it again?
You're not giving the defense credit for those?
They get credit for, Ty Redmond made a great play on the ball on his interception, and he had a good game in this one. But yeah, sure, I can give them credit, but I can also say the defense had probably their worst game of the season in SEC play, where, Vanderbilt, I think, finished the game, let's see, how many yards per play? Yeah, they averaged 9 yards per play total, 11.2 in the fourth quarter, 9.6 in the second, 7.7 in the third, 7.9 in the first. They ran for 314 yards on 37 carries. They threw the ball 28 times for 268 yards, 600 yards of offense, 7 of 10 on third down. My point is, Tennessee was not going to stop Vanderbilt the entire night. Vanderbilt chunked and chunked and chunked Tennessee to death. Diego Pavia was elite with his legs. Diego Pavia was elite pushing the ball down the field. They had Tennessee's defense just in absolute disarray the entirety of this football game. Yes, they had 2 picks that kind of kept Tennessee in this game, but if they don't have those 2 interceptions, I think Vanderbilt might be up 2 scores going into the half. And you're like, This is going to be even worse than what we saw. And Tennessee got beat by 20 plus points in this football game. So for me, it was a turning point. Tennessee was not good in the middle 8 here, but I don't think Tennessee had a prayer of winning this football game because the offense did not, like I said, coming into, Aguilar would probably have to play or match, either play better or match Diego Pavia in this game. And I think he was good. The offensive line was not great. He got hit a lot. He got sacked multiple times in this football game. Tennessee couldn't run the ball in the second half at all. They took away Deshaun Bishop in the second half. They took away Chris Brazel in the second half. Mike Matthews dropped an easy touchdown at the goal line. That was big. That ended up Tennessee having to kick field goal. Braylon Staley was shut down in the second half. But all that being said, like Tennessee's secondary, the safeties had a really rough night. The linebackers had a rough night. Tennessee got home, but they just could not wrap up and sack Diego Pavia. Like it was, I mean, the offense did not find any consistency as well. I don't think the offense was great in this football game for Tennessee. I thought it was solid, good, but 24 points was never going to be nearly enough to beat Vanderbilt. And scoring 3 points in the second half was bad. Like Tennessee's offense has had those bad quarters and bad situations where you're like, what are we doing? Like Tennessee had 5 carries for 11 yards on the ground, 6 passes for 26 yards in the third quarter. Tennessee, I mean, it just, you had those bad quarters and bad situations where you just can't have that against Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt has the number 1 offensive efficiency team in all of FBS. Like I said, Diego Pavia is my Heisman, and he played like it on Saturday. Like they talked all season, they talked in the offseason, and they went into your building and embarrassed you. Like they embarrassed Tennessee in the second half. So I think this is this is uncharted waters for Josh Heupel. This is uncharted waters for Tennessee as a whole. It's a terrible way to go into the offseason. Yes, you have a bowl game. We'll see if they're in the Gator Bowl or whatever. But I mean, the vibes are bad. Like you just can't get beat by Vanderbilt by 20 plus points at home. Like Vanderbilt is a good football team. I think they're better than Oklahoma. I'll still say that. Like I think we're giving Oklahoma a lot of credit on some stuff where I'm like, I don't know, man. I think Vanderbilt is more complete, and they're definitely more complete offensively. And we'll see. I don't know. I think it'd be a great game to see Oklahoma and Vanderbilt, but that is a conversation for another day. The bigger point here is like, this is not something that can happen at home. Like this, going into the end of year 5 here, you have 3 home losses. You got absolutely embarrassed by a team that, I mean, they talked also. Like they went in and they punked you in your own building, and you couldn't get a stop to 600 yards of total offense. Like I don't care how good Vanderbilt is, you can't give up 600 yards of total offense in the against Vandy. It just can't happen. Like they embarrassed you. This was worse than, I mean, this felt like Georgia, the peak versions of Georgia that have come into Neyland in the Heupel era and beaten Tennessee. You know, shut them down the second half. You're like, oh, that was rough. We had them there in the first quarter for a little bit, but this is not Georgia. This is Vanderbilt. This is your rival. This is a program that you have dominated for many, many years, and it's your first loss to Vanderbilt as the head coach of Tennessee. But man, I think you have to make some changes now. I think it's going to be very, very interesting. I mean, it's a hot seat now. Like I think Heupel has now put himself where I don't think Heupel now will have the cachet to go with a true freshman or redshirt freshman quarterback in George McIntyre phase on Brandon next year. I think if he had won out here and finished 9-3, I think he could have been like, yeah, I mean, pretty good, but like, hey, we might win 8 or 7, but I'm breaking in a new quarterback. Y'all are gonna have to trust me that with this young guy, like I'm gonna get us back to 9-10 and be in the playoff hunt in 27 and beyond. Now I don't think you have that luxury. Now I think, man, if you go 7-5, 8-4 next year, it's just not gonna fly. Like, and the schedule is harder in 27 than it was in 26. So I think this is Heupel has done a very good job at Tennessee. But that is his worst loss at Tennessee. It came at the worst time because now you have the whole offseason to stew with it. And I think the fan base is really upset at just how Tennessee looked, how Tennessee finished this season. A lot of the home losses. I don't know. I'm very curious who stays, who goes on the staff. I'm curious how they attack the portal here in a couple of weeks. They're, I think, going to have to be aggressive now at quarterback. I think there are things I like about Aguilar. There are things that I kind of think I still maintain he's not the best fit for Heupel's scheme. I think he's a great leader, great person. I like Joey Aguilar. I would rather go somewhere else at quarterback, even if he gets that granted that one more year. I would like to see some of the guys that were rumored in May and April that Tennessee might be looking at. I think if you can upgrade there, I think you do. But I'm very curious what Tennessee does at quarterback. I'm curious what they do on the defensive line. I'm curious what they do in a couple different spots. I'm curious what they do with the coordinators. I'm curious what they do with some position coaches. I mean, Tennessee has to do like a full scan of their entire operation because getting embarrassed like that at home to the Vanderbilt Commodores, as good as they are this year, is just unacceptable. Like, that just can't happen at Tennessee. And now Heupel is going to feel some heat because this is just that's not okay. That doesn't happen at Tennessee, and that can't happen, and that can't be acceptable. So for me, I'm very curious what all this means going into the offseason. But yeah, I mean, it was a bummer, man. Like, it was pitiful. That was a pitiful second half from the Tennessee Volunteers.
So you touched on a lot of things, and I want to respond to a lot of them. But first, talk about the Heupel talk. I kind of felt the same way about Heupel. I felt like 9-3 with a win over Vanderbilt felt like he was unfireable in 2026. You know what I mean? It's like with what the whole Nico stuff, and obviously people are so quick to forget how this team, the circumstances of this team going into the year and everything. But with all that, like, and they still go 9-3, like he's under pressure because he's at Tennessee and they're trying to win something. It's been a while, but he was unfireable in my opinion. But obviously guys like James Franklin and Brian Kelly just got fired this year. Like, I mean, they lose 4 games. Like they start a season 4-4 or something like that next year or something. It's like he's a guy who could be fired mid-season. And I think this game, I think it's just because of the way it happened too. Like you're talking about, like I was thinking this kind of like while I was watching this game, because you're someone who, like, you're not shocked by Vanderbilt winning this game. You know, like you were talking about it before the game of just like, I feel like Vanderbilt's kind of a more complete team than Tennessee, things like that. But then once you see Vanderbilt beating Tennessee, nothing can prepare you for that as a Tennessee fan. It doesn't matter that this is the best season that Vanderbilt's had in 5 decades.
Well, no, forever. It's their best team ever.
Forever. Yeah. And it's like, it's still just like Tennessee shouldn't be losing to Vanderbilt. They damn sure shouldn't be losing by 3 touchdowns to Vanderbilt. But yeah, I think Heupel's seat has definitely changed a little bit after that game.
Well, and it's not like, it's like you said, Kelly just got fired. There's a whole bunch of SEC coaching movement this cycle. It's just Heupel has gotten this place back into a great spot. I want it to work out for Heupel here. I want Josh to make this all work, but Josh cannot run it back. Like you now lost some cachet with how this season went. Like you've lost some cachet. And that doesn't mean it's going to end poorly for Josh next year, but he has to be aggressive. Like he has to make offseason adjustments and go into 27. Like, I've got to cool my seat, so I need to stack my 26 roster. Like I need to make sure that coaching staff, strength coach, my off the field recruiting operations, scouting, everything is in tip top shape, that we are going to be just fine in 26. And we're going to push for 9 or 10 wins, because I just think this is a frustrating season in a lot of ways. But like I said, Heupel's done a really good job here. He's gotten Tennessee back to prominence, but he has never faced this kind of pushback and vitriol from the fans. Because again, I think most fans would have been okay if Tennessee lost close to Vanderbilt at home on Saturday. They wouldn't have loved it, but you did just go to Florida and end that streak on the road last week. You've beaten Bama twice. You've beaten Florida 3 times. Like, there's been a lot of good, obviously, with Josh Heupel. So I think they would have been okay. But to get trounced and embarrassed like that at home is a different deal. Like, losing that way to Vanderbilt is different than losing 48-45.
Yeah. And like you said, like, to get punked out by Vanderbilt, like they've been talking so much trash for an entire year. And so for Diego Pavia to back it up, and yeah, like you're saying, just the way it happened, because I kind of felt like Tennessee was the better team in the first half. And not to say that personal foul like was the reason Tennessee lost or anything, but it definitely seemed to be before this was what was happening in the game. After this is what happened in the game. You know, it was definitely kind of a point of demarcation, but it's 21-21 going into the second half. And then it's like, I looked up at the end of the third quarter. I mean, I'm watching the game, obviously on the quad box, and you're just like, wow, Vanderbilt's up 2 scores now. And they've kind of quietly dominated. And then you look up, I mean, Cedric Alexander, 10 for 115, like just gashing him. Like I do feel like this, if Diego Pavia is going to win the Heisman, like this was like, obviously 1 touchdown, 2 picks isn't great, but just the vibes, the what is the Diego Pavia experience? Like this was it, just 20 carries for 165 yards, just like being like the heart and soul of the team, making plays, like going into Neyland and winning. Like I think he's the Heisman Trophy winner. Like I'm here for it. I think in a year where there hasn't been just a lot of like great stories and stuff. Also, if they get left out of the playoff at 10-2, it seems like it's the least you could do is give them a Heisman. Like Vanderbilt deserves something for this season. As someone who's hoping Jared Curtis stays committed to their school, Heisman Trophy winner for Vanderbilt wouldn't be great, but I guess he's got to make a decision before then. I guess you don't have to do anything. It's 2025, but yeah, it's I was just shocked at how they dominate on the ground. Like this Tennessee secondary has been, super questionable all year, and Pavia's had such a great season. It's like you expected some kind of shootout, but 300 yards on the ground, I was not expecting that.
No. Well, Matt Green, let's dive into do you have a green line side of the week?
I do not have a green line stat of the week. I apologize, sir, but I can tell you how we did in our pick'em this week.
Well, before we get into our pick'em, we need to talk about we got to do our rapid reaction here to just so much turnover and change happening. And if you're wondering, as a SEC football fan, why are so many moves getting done here on Sunday, November 30th? Well, early National Signing Day is on Wednesday, and staffs are trying to get this all in order so that they can put together a semblance of a roster, keep the class intact, this, that, and the other. So I don't know why we're calling it early signing day. It's just signing day because that's when everyone's getting their teams put together and all that. And the portal is a couple weeks after. So that being said, bunch of movement, Matt Green. There is a bunch of stuff where Alex Golesh, is he going to be the Arkansas coach? No, Alex Golesh is actually going to be the Auburn coach. John Summerall is going to be the Florida coach. Pat Fitzgerald, he's back. He's going to be the Michigan.
Not so fast, sir. John Summerall?
What?
I don't think that's happening.
What do you mean?
I think John Summerall took his name out of the search, didn't he? Am I getting that from an unreliable source?
What are we talking about right now?
John Summerall isn't going to be the Florida coach, I don't think.
Yes.
He's already agreed to that?
Where have you been?
I saw earlier today something different.
That was 11:30 this morning. What's happening right now?
What was 11:30 this morning?
I'm looking at the ESPN story. You have me freaking out here.
I swear to you, I saw something.
What is happening?
I don't know. Keep going then. I'll be quiet over here. I thought that fell through. I thought there was like backlash and stuff.
There have been some backlash the last couple days in terms of like the whole Lane Kiffin drama of not getting Lane Kiffin, but John Summerall, unless things have changed, looks to be
okay.
The Florida head football coach here.
I apologize.
You had me freaking out here.
I thought something had changed with that, but there's also breaking news.
I saw this just because I went to go look this up. Mark Stoops out at Kentucky. Pete Thamel reporting Kentucky is expected to fire Mark Stoops on Monday.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I guess kind of surprising, but like, yeah, they're not good, but I don't know. This seems like a bad year to open yourself up if you're Kentucky.
Well,
or maybe it's a great year because of all the carousel stuff. Maybe you end up like a Virginia Tech, James Franklin, and get someone who's maybe outkick your coverage a little bit with all the things going on. Well,
the problem is the guy the best coach who you might had ties to just took the Florida job. Like John Summerall was a former Kentucky linebacker. If you were going to fire Stoops, you might have wanted to jump on this a little bit earlier and really, really try and go down the John Summerall rabbit hole. So I don't know what Kentucky's going to do. I'm okay with it. What I've said forever, I think you and I are on the same page. Go get Jeff Monken from Army. Go run that kind of
I'm not on the same page with you there.
No, Kentucky either needs to be a triple, run first, heavy, gimmicky type offense, and shout out to Jeff Monken. He's awesome. I think he does a great job. Been on this program, friend of the program. Or you go air raid, like super crazy air raid, like, the Tim Couch, Hal Mummy years and Mike Leach and everything. Like that's the two choices, the two paths I think Kentucky has to go on. So pick one. But this whole NFL style where we're just going to ground and pound and defense first and try and no, that's never, it was solid for a while with Stoops, but that's not what Kentucky can be to be the best version of Kentucky. They either need to be a triple team or an air raid. One of the two.
I think they've already broken through. Like they've already become a more legitimate program than they once were. Like they've had multiple 10-win seasons and stuff like that, just doing things normally. Like you don't have to throw out everything Kentucky's done. Like they've actually, outside of the last 2 years, they've been pretty awful. But before that, the previous 5-6 years, they were very solid defensively. Maybe just bring in someone with that's got a wrinkle to their offense, that's actually gonna, do something that's gonna score more points. But you can keep your kind of same identity. Kentucky can recruit to an extent. I don't know that in Kentucky just has to go triple option or something crazy. Look what Vanderbilt's doing right now. You would have said the same thing about Vanderbilt, that they need to be an Army, something crazy. Obviously they have an innovative offensive mind, but look at what they just did to Tennessee. They dominated them on the ground. They have a legit defense. And obviously it's built with a bunch of transfers and 24, 25-year-olds and stuff. But that's what Kentucky needs to be doing. Become a place that people want to transfer to and play in the SEC. I don't know. I don't think Kentucky is that far from just being a solid program again. It wasn't that long ago they were a solid program.
I mean, you could be solid, but the best version is air raid or triple. Those are your choices.
Is that what Vanderbilt's doing?
Vanderbilt's running. I mean, they're running a really cool scheme, but we're gonna see what it looks like post Diego Pavia. We're gonna see what all that's gonna. I mean,
Jared Curtis are gonna be different.
I mean, we'll see with the true freshman there. But look, and I don't know what's gonna happen with Jared Curtis, but. No, I don't know. I think they should lean into one or the other. I think some programs should do that more than others. I think it's just, you kind of accept what you are. And I think you can win a lot of games that way. And you could be really fun. Eric Morris at North Texas would have been awesome at Kentucky. That would have made a lot of sense to me if you had gone out and gotten Eric Morris from Kentucky or from North
Oklahoma
Texas.
State.
Oklahoma State.
Is that where he went?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair, but I think we're burying the lead here. Kentucky, sure.
You don't want to talk Kentucky football here for the next 20, 30 minutes. No. So John Summerall, Florida, Lane Kiffin, LSU, Alex Golish, Auburn, Ryan Silverfield, Arkansas, and like we just said here at the top, who knows what Kentucky's going to do this late in the process, Matt Green. But of that list, sir, which new hire is the most intriguing to you here in the conference?
I would say Ryan Silverfield. No, it's Lane Kiffin, sir. That's the most exciting hire here. It's
exciting. I didn't say exciting. I said intriguing.
I mean, I'm obviously intrigued by what Lane Kiffin is going to do at LSU because look how good he's had Ole Miss the last couple of years. There's a lot of grass is not always greener talk, Ole Miss, you have a chance to win a national championship. You're going to be going to the playoff, be the 5 seed, the 6 seed.
Speaking of, we should say Pete Golding too, because it looks like Pete Golding's going to be the permanent Ole Miss
And
guy.
So have they made a decision that he's not coaching in the playoff? Pete Golding
is. Pete Golding's going to be the guy.
Yeah, he's the guy. Lane Kiffin is gone effective immediately. That is the dumbest decision any college has ever made, sir. I'm sorry. It was
the right decision. You had to do it. If he had left for the Big Ten or something like that, I think maybe you can have a broader conversation. He's staying in the conference. He's a rival. You can't do it.
If he was willing to do the work and stay at Ole Miss,
it's a conflict of interest, Matt. You can't do it. It's in the conference. You're recruiting these guys and you're pulling it. You just can't. Early national signing day is Wednesday. How are you doing 2 jobs where you're getting recruits for the next job while also that's not, you can't do it.
I think you're cutting off your nose to spite your face if you're Ole Miss over here. This is the best season you've ever had.
It's a conflict of interest. You just can't. He's going to a rival.
This is the best
Lane
season
Kiffin didn't have to go, Matt. You're making it seem like Lane had to go. Lane did not have to go.
This is like when the Washington Nationals had Steven Strasburg on a pitch count. And then they got to the playoff or an innings count or something. And they got to the playoff. You know what? Yeah, he's hit his innings limit. We're gonna we're gonna bench him. It's like, what the hell are you? You're sabotaging your own team.
No,
and
Matt,
potential to
I
win the World
don't
Series.
disagree that it stinks for Lane Kiffin. It stinks that he has to make the choice. But he 100% had to make the choice because the calendar is what it is. So when everyone's talking about the college football calendar is a mess, right? But the I keep saying content calendar. The college football calendar is what it is on November 30th, 2025. So with it being what it is, he can't stay. Like, it's just like, you can't do it. Like there's too many conflicting interests. You can't do both, especially with the timelines, with the portal, with everything else, with signing the day on Wednesday, staying within your own conference. Like, it's just, you can't do that. Like, that just can't happen. But you can do it if things were different in terms of timeline and National Signing Day was February and all that was later after the playoffs and all that. Yeah, sure. But this being the calendar right now, he had to go. Like, there's just you had to make a choice. Like, you could not drag this on. That just, it can't happen.
But why was someone like Kirby Smart, and he's not the only one, but why is someone like Kirby Smart able to recruit to Georgia and also finish out the season at Alabama as the defensive coordinator, like doing both things? Like, I mean, that's not that long ago. Obviously, the calendar early signing period wasn't around then, so things have changed since then.
Yeah.
But I think if Lane Kiffin actually wants to stay and he's like, no, I promise these guys, we're going to finish what we started. Like, I think that's like such a respectable thing to do. And also the news has broken. Yeah, he's going to be LSU's coach next year. Like,
but then what does Ole Miss do? If Ole Miss lets him coach, they'll throw, like, they miss out, like, all their stuff is messed up. Signing day's messed up. Portal's messed up.
Holding the coach though. So that's even better. You're keeping some of that continuity. And now Lane Kiffin's going to stay on to try to win a championship with this team. Players are going to transfer to LSU or sign with LSU based on Lane Kiffin being there. Like, it's not like LSU just got on your radar like, oh, this is a big time football program. Like, you knew about LSU. Now, if Lane Kiffin's there, you're going to make that decision whether or not you want to go there. I just think you can do both. And the fact that Pete Golding was the guy that's now going to be the new head coach, that even makes it easier to do both because he's going to be the permanent guy moving forward. I don't know. The fact that you're a team that's built on Lane Kiffin's like offensive mind and like philosophy and stuff. Like, also, I imagine he's not going by himself, right? Like, there's going to be some coaches that are going with him. You're sabotaging your postseason season because of your ego of how you're in your feelings about your coach going to a rival school.
It's like, standing up for yourself and saying that, like, we need to know and we have to be ready to go for early National Signing Day. Like, it's a conflict of interest. You are going to a rival. You are, like, Lane does not have to leave. Lane, if he believed Ole Miss could win a national title and do this, he would say, look, I'm staying. I think I'm going to win a national title with the Ole Miss Rebels this year. I'm not leaving. He could have told LSU, I'm not leaving or talking until I play this season out. Like, that is, like,
also the portal's still open, like, what, in January too. So it's like, it's not like they're necessarily gonna run into like the portal being closed by the time he goes to LSU.
Ole Miss would have, the cup board would be bare if Lane went through the whole season, took a bunch of staff and then a bunch of players, and then every other roster's already been completed and put together, and then Ole Miss is left scrambling.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is a bad decision on Ole Miss's part. I don't know.
Lane could have stayed, Matt. Like, Lane could have stayed.
But he also left. Like, he's going to a new school. Like,
not a new school. No. A arch rival.
Whatever. He's going to a new school and he wants to finish this season out with Ole Miss. Like, I feel like you want to stay. Like, it's like putting in your 2 weeks and then someone's like, why don't you just go ahead and get out of here now? It's like, what I put in my 2 weeks? Like, that's like,
well, no. Hold on. This is a great example. If you go to a competitor, you get escorted out of the building. You don't get to finish the 2 weeks. You go. Like, what do you mean? Yeah,
that could be true. That's a bad example. But yeah, I don't know. It's complicated. Like, Georgia and Alabama, yeah, maybe they're not arch rivals, but they weren't nothing. Like, from Kirby.
He was not a sitting head coach. And again, it was a long time ago. The signing period and everything else is different. But again, this is one of those things where,
Who's
like,
the most big time guy that's been poached? Like Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning was doing both, right? Preparing for a championship at Georgia
he was
while
a
taking the
defensive
Oregon
coordinator.
job.
And again, he wasn't going to Alabama.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it's just, he's going to a competitor, like he's going to a rival.
But they're all competitors. Like Oregon and Georgia
different. Like, if he was going to Connecticut, they're like, yeah, Lane, ride this one out, man. If you want to go
who did Jared Curtis commit to Georgia over? Over Oregon. Like they're in recruiting battles. Like they're national.
It's not the same, and you know
programs. That. Yeah. No, it's not the exact same. There's not.
And again, like I said, I can empathize.
That's why I feel like it's ego. It's Ole Miss is like getting in their feelings about it.
Right, but also because it's Lane saying he doesn't believe he can win a national title at Ole Miss, and he's not going to win a national title with this team.
Maybe this year, just not moving forward.
If he thought so this year, would he really leave? Would you walk away from a team that you thought you were going to win your first national title with and actually break through in the playoff? If you really thought you were going to win it this year, if you really thought you had the best team and could win 4 playoff games, he finished 11-1 and still left. So the point is, like, I understand
decision. If you're making a 10-year, 20-year decision, why would you jeopardize a 10-year, 20-year decision based on like the next month? Like that would be dumb.
You believe you're going to win a national title with Ole Miss and that they're comparable jobs. He clearly doesn't see them as comparable jobs if he left for LSU.
No, he doesn't. But he wants
it. Then, why are you mad at Ole Miss for being like, all right, man, if you don't see us the same, then we're moving forward?
Because they're in their feelings about it. This is such a feeling.
They would have loved Lane Kiffin to stay and be their head coach. Lane Kiffin just set a school record for regular season wins at 11-1. Lane Kiffin has been an unbelievable coach and I've been a Lane Kiffin defender as a head football coach here at Ole Miss for years on this program. I will still defend, like, it's a great hire for LSU. Lane Kiffin's a great coach, but I completely understand what Ole Miss is doing here, and I can empathize that, like, it sucks for Lane to have to dip out and not coach his team in the playoffs here. But again, we all make choices. And if you're going to LSU, then you are making a choice and you are choosing to not coach your team in the college football playoff.
If this was a G5 school, what do you think they would do? Like if this was Tulane doing the same.
I mean, it's happening right now.
What is Tulane doing?
Summerall and Eric Morris are coaching it out at the G5.
So he's finishing his time before going to Florida.
Right? I believe so, yes. I think Summerall and Eric Morris.
His team could very well be in the college ball playoff this year.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to coach. And why is he going to coach? Because Tulane is not in their feelings.
It's the G6, Matt, going to a Power 2 job. It's not the same.
Exactly. Tulane knows where they are. And
I don't know if this would work. No, hold on. If John Summerall left
about where they are.
Hold on. If John Summerall left for like Memphis, I don't know what they would do.
Dude, I don't think there's any way. I mean, that's I don't know. That's an impossible.
I think if he left for Memphis, I wouldn't let him coach. It's like you're now an arrival at the top of the AAC. Like, no, sorry, man.
But how much leverage do you have as Memphis? You're like, yeah, we're just glad this guy wants to be here. Like, yeah, finish your season, then come on over, man. Like, if you think
I'm just saying, like, it's not apples to apples. And again, like, you can show. I understand it's a very complicated situation, but it is what it is, man. Like,
this isn't the same as like Auburn, whatever, agreeing to hire Kirby and then it falling through because they didn't want him to coach and that to help Alabama win another championship in 2012. It's not the exact same thing, but this is similar to that. Like you're letting your short-term feelings get in the way of like what you long-term want. And it's like, this isn't the exact same because if you thought Kirby was the best guy for the next decade for your program, yeah, let him coach another month to prepare for the bowl game. We've always wanted to win a national championship, and we actually have a chance to win a championship. We're going to be in the tournament to win a championship with a decent seed, but we're in our feelings about how this makes us look like ego-wise. Like, oh, we're not a stepping stone program. If you want to go, get out of here. Like, no, you are a stepping stone program. You're not one of the elite blue bloods of college football. Tulane understands that. You're Ole Miss and you don't understand that. And now you're gonna sabotage your best season you've ever had to what? To just make yourself look like you're one of the big boys? Like, I just think it's a huge mistake Ole Miss is making.
We shall see. We shall see.
I
Matt
mean,
Green.
what if they win a game? Is it all worth it? Like if they win their first round playoff game, is it like we don't need Lane Kiffin? Lane Kiffin
It's
was going
not
to
a
get
we
his
don't
first
need Lane
test.
Kiffin. Lane didn't want us. He took the LSU job.
But Lane Kiffin did want to coach in the playoff.
Then he could have said no to LSU.
Fair enough.
Like he had the team that he could have stayed.
No, he could have.
We all have choices, man. Like we all have choices.
No, I feel you. It's I just feel like Lane Kiffin's being villainized a little too much for this whole situation because ultimately, like you kind of started your thing, your the whole thing with like this is such a college football calendar issue. Like it's not a Lane Kiffin issue. Like it's just so jacked up that a team even has to make this. A school has to make a decision like this, and like it's not about like head coaches are going to leave for jobs all the time. Sometimes you're going to leave for other college. Sometimes you're going to leave for an NFL job. It's like, it's a better job. Like whatever the reason is, maybe you think it's a worse job, but it's closer to my hometown. So it's a better job to me. You know, people make decisions to leave for all kinds of reasons. You shouldn't have to sabotage your team's postseason in order to make a good career decision for yourself. Like it's just from a coach. It's also not fair to the players that all signed up to play for Lane Kiffin. And now they're playing for a different coach in the most important game of their careers. It just, maybe it's the Lane Kiffin rule to finally fix the college ball calendar, but like someone's got to be done about this.
But again, even if the calendar was different, you would still immediately after like you got to go. You're not wrapping up anything. It's like you're on your way to Baton Rouge today.
Well, you at least get to finish the season out. Like that's the thing. Like you should finish the season out because like obviously he was good. He's got another good, better job.
No,
you know?
But if the calendar was different, sure, we have a different conversation. But the calendar is what it is, so you have to do it. Like you cannot keep doing both. You cannot work for LSU and Ole Miss at the same time. You cannot do that.
It makes it complicated to do both for sure. Like it shouldn't even be complicated. I think it's possible to do both, but you know that's where it's debatable.
It's a conflict of interest. Can't do it.
It's definitely complicated for sure. I'll agree there.
Well, Matt Green, how do we do this week in our rivalry weekend?
Chase Thomas on absolute heater, folks, when it comes to money lines, sir. So you now have five straight weeks of either 8 or 9 wins. So you went 9-2 on the week.
Should have gone 10-1. I just for my balls, I did it just because I wanted to speak it into existence, but
that's true. There's only one game that both you and I missed the money line, and that was Tennessee. But yeah, you went 9-2 this week, 9-2 the week before, 8-3 the week before that, 9-2 the week before that, 8-3 the week before that. So you've been on fire, sir. So you're at now 107-48 on the season money line. I went 8-3 this week, back-to-back 8-3s, I will say. But I'm 102-53. So you got a 5-game lead on me. Oh, and I tallied it up and I didn't put it on the score. So then against the spread, you went 7-4. And then against the spread, I went, what is that? 6-5. I went against the spread. So you picked up a game on me against the spread. But I wanted to shout out our home dog of the week. Also, the now 13-year-old Zeus, our home dog.
Did he have a birthday since the last show?
Not since the last show, but I think it was before that. It was like the 22nd. Okay. So Zeus is now 13 years old. Yeah, of course.
No birthday or anything.
That's true, but I'm shouting him out now. Zeus had Texas as his home dog of the week this week. He will finish the season 9-5, sir. Decided to go back and look at Zeus's home dog of the week. Last 4 years, sir, hitting on 64% of his home dogs. Went 14-10 in 2024, 12-5 in 2023, and 9-5 in 2022. So now 9-5 again this season. Quality season for Zeus, home dog of the week. Home dog of the year, some say.
Didn't Zeus pick like an away team or something this year? Didn't Zeus have a kerfuffle at one point in the middle of this year?
He picked. Did he pick an away team? Oh no, what he did was he picked Ole Miss. I think versus LSU, and I think they were actually favored. I think they were up. They were like a 1.5, 2 point favorite. So That one I didn't count him. That
Mm.
one's I got the wins in green, the losses in red on my spreadsheet here. That
Was
one's
that an
in
age
black.
thing? Does he need readers, like readers,
That
some
could
glasses?
be. I think I gave him some bad intel, so we won't put
Mm.
that one on Zeus. But yeah, it's he tried to go Mississippi State when they were a road dog a couple weeks ago, but that wasn't a real pick. That was just, he was trying to throw in a bonus one there. But yeah. So week 12 it was NA. We didn't have a home dog that week. But yeah, Texas ending the season in the win column. I assume there's no home games, conference championship week, but yeah, quality season for Zeus and his home dog.
No, I
If
think
you're
somebody does the Mountain West. I think Mountain West does their conference title.
You might
game
be
at home.
right, but we're not doing it. It's over. Home dogs are a regular season thing.
I feel like it's played at the home venue. Yeah, Boise State will host UNLV for the Mountain West Football Championship. I was like, I'm pretty sure Mountain West does it at home.
I think there's another one that does it too. I know obviously the MAC does it in Ford Field, but I think maybe the Sun Belt. I think the Sun Belt might have a home game.
Yeah, because it's Troy and JMU. So I guess JMU is probably hosting.
And the Duke Blue Devils win the ACC. JMU might be in the playoff.
I mean, JMU might be in the playoff anyway as the highest ranked G5 team.
Can they be higher than Tulane?
I mean, if Tulane loses, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so maybe both of those get in.
That'd be something else, man.
Who's
we might go to 24 if we get Tulane and JMU in.
Yeah, I'm not here for it. I think that's the biggest issue with the playoff. I think last year was the seeds giving the top 4 seeds totally jacked up the playoff, and then I think it's kind of messed people's narratives about the playoffs up. But I think that's the other thing is these automatic qualifiers just in general. Like if we were talking about, Vanderbilt and Texas getting, or Utah or BYU getting these last couple spots, I think there's been a lot more buzz. But if it's a G5 school and Virginia, like, I don't know. Like if we're going to go to 12 teams, let's at least make it the best 12 teams. But what can you do?
If I was Jim Phillips in the ACC, I'm coming out on Monday being like, we appreciate your service, Duke Blue Devils, but we're putting in the Miami Hurricanes to face off against the Virginia Cavaliers. That's what we're doing.
Like what about a money can Duke? Can you just give Duke money and just be like, hey man, you get whatever percentage of the gate for Miami's for the conference championship, but we need to see the Hurricanes in the ACC championship. We need to see the best team in the ACC in the ACC championship.
Yeah. Well, Matt Green, let's talk about these 3 games as we wrap up here tonight. Let's do Texas. Obviously, they beat A&M convincingly in Austin. Wisner has a huge day for the Horns on the ground in this win for Steve Sarkisian in Texas. They finished 9-3. A&M misses the SEC championship game in back-to-back seasons because they lost to Texas in that final game of the regular season in back-to-back years. Rough game for Marcel Reed. A&M, obviously, we talked about playing with fire the last month or so. They finally get burned here on the road in Austin. This game really flipped when Texas A&M punted 3 straight possessions and Texas scored 17 points in their 3 straight possessions in that same time frame. So great game by Texas, ran the ball well. Arch played all right. I think he's been better, especially in the second half of the year. He's become like a solid quarterback. I don't think he's become an elite quarterback, but I think he's definitely improving week over week and had a good game here. I think Reed threw a couple picks in this one, but yeah, A&M, they fall here, missed the SEC title game once again, but they're going to be a playoff team, which is all that matters, but impressive win for Texas. But the conversation coming out of complaining that, hey, if we had not scheduled Ohio State and just scheduled Bowling Green, we'd be 10-2 in the playoff. And I'm like, I don't know about that actually, because of who else is 10-2. Like they're just saying that. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if you're just in at 10-2 with how everything else played out this weekend.
They're 100% in at 10-2, man. Texas, think about if they don't lose to Ohio State, what do they start the season like 6-1, 7-1. They're probably ranked like number 8, number 7. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I
Like,
mean, they're barely beating Kentucky. They're in barely beating Mississippi State. They're in these like we never once thought that they were one of the 10, 12 best teams in the country this year.
no, that's true. It's a brand bias thing for sure. I don't think they would necessarily clearly be one of the top 12 teams if they didn't play Ohio State, but I think the general like consensus would be that they would be ranked like 9th right now if they were 10-2. Like especially
Then
they
who's
just
getting
beat
left
number
out?
3
Who are they
A&M.
pushing out there?
What did the rankings came out today?
You putting out Oklahoma, Notre Dame?
I mean, they beat Oklahoma.
That's
so
true.
I mean, they're a 2-loss team with a win over Oklahoma. So I mean, they're 14 right now. Like if they didn't lose to Ohio State, like they'd be like 10. Like, so I mean, it's not wrong, but it
happened.
Once he said that, I was like, that's kind of a good point. Like, we do need to, reward the teams who scheduled, because you look at the AP poll today. The top 2 is the 2 undefeated teams. 3 through 7 is all the best 1-loss teams. And then 8 through 10, well, you got BYU in there, but like 8 through 13 is all the best 2-loss teams, other than BYU with 1 loss. Like, it's just such a formula, the way they rank the teams. And there's no nuance. There's no who have they played, and they have wins over what are the terms they use in college basketball, like quad 1 wins and
quad
stuff
1,
like
quad
that.
2, all that.
Yeah, it's like if they're gonna take this seriously and not just rank it how the rankings have always been, like, you got to start throwing out things like that, because these SEC schedules are already superior to other conference schedules. Once they go to 9 games, it's not even going to be close. So I'm curious to see what the playoff does moving forward with that, because I don't think Texas is that good. But Sarkisian isn't necessarily wrong there. But in terms of this game, I felt like maybe you could feel this a little bit Mark Richt Georgia days, but I felt like some good Kirk Ferentz Iowa teams or Wisconsin teams that like they're 11-1 or maybe even 12-0. I think Wisconsin I think both of those. I think Iowa and Wisconsin went into Big Ten championships undefeated at one point, ranked like 4 or 5, and no one thought they were legit. Everyone in the world is just like, oh yeah, nice season in the Big Ten West. You're gonna get blasted by Ohio State in that Big Ten championship. And then they did. It's like just something about being a fan like that. I felt for A&M. Like, they've been convincing everyone all year. I don't care what we can't control our schedule. We beat Notre Dame at a conference. All we can do is win the games on our schedule, and we win them all. We're undefeated, and then everyone's picking against you against Texas, and Texas basically dominated. I mean, they won pretty handedly. I felt like they were just clearly the better team in this game. I don't know. Like, I don't know where you rank A&M, because if you're ranking all the teams in order, like I'm saying, like 1 loss, like maybe they go down to like 6 or 7. All of the 2-loss SEC teams have a better resume than them. So, and including Texas. Texas now has 2 wins over top 10. I mean, Texas has 3 wins over top 12 teams at this point. When you put Vanderbilt in there too. So, I don't know. A&M arguably shouldn't even be a playoff team based on their resume. Like, there's no chance they would do that with 1 loss, but they might have a better resume than Vanderbilt to this point. But I mean, the win over Tennessee, they did beat Notre Dame. They had the win over Notre Dame. I keep forgetting that when I talk about their conference schedule. But yeah, you could easily justify Notre Dame, not Notre Dame. That's the one you got to keep A&M ahead of. You can easily justify Oklahoma, Alabama, at least those 2-loss teams ahead of Texas A&M, and obviously Texas did just beat them, but I don't know, 9-3 versus 11-1. That you probably can't give them that, but yeah, I just don't even know how good this A&M team is at this point after an 11-1 regular season.
They're somewhere in the top 10. I don't know. I think if you told me they ran the gauntlet and made it to the final, it wouldn't surprise me. If they got bounced in the first round, it wouldn't surprise me. I don't think they're a bye team. I think that one is gone. I think you can't put them in the top 4. That's my only thing I'm certain about, is they're not a top 4 team. They don't get a bye.
To quote, I want to say it was John Buchagras. I'm in the top 10. I'm in the top 10, Roger. I don't know if you remember that commercial. I think it was Buchagras. Maybe Neil Everett. We're talking about top 10 Sports Center anchors, but Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're top 10, but I think they're going to be like what, 6 or 7 in the poll when it comes out. Like Oregon, they'll probably be the last of the one-loss teams. Like I think Ole Miss. What's Ole Miss's best win at this point?
Well, I don't know what they're going to do with Ole Miss because Lane's
Yeah.
gone. Like, I don't think they're hosting. My guess is they're taking away the hosting from them.
Yeah, I mean, if Alabama loses, though, I don't know how many teams you can really. They obviously you can keep them. You can't put Oklahoma ahead of them. Like they're a one-loss team with a head-to-head over Oklahoma. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how low you can really go, and it's just garbage speculation. Like judge the team for what they've been through 12 games. Like that's all you can do. Like don't try to project what they will or won't be with their head coach. That was the thing about Jordan Travis is like you saw Jordan Travis with Florida State, even though I don't like that decision either. You at least saw how mediocre they looked like for 4 or 5 games without Jordan Travis.
Yeah. Final 2 here. Auburn nearly pulled it off in Jordan-Hare. This was a fantastic game. I really enjoyed this one. Nice little middle break after Tennessee going down in flames to the Commodores. But I mean, how awesome was that 4th down call by Kalen DeBoer, Matt Gray? Great stuff. Love it from Kalen DeBoer.
What a call, man. Like that could have been the dumbest decision ever. I think the reason why it was probably a safe decision is it's like, is Auburn really driving 97 yards on? I guess they didn't have to drive 97 yards. They only get a field goal if you stop them there. But yeah, I mean, that's up there with like the Les Miles that LSU Auburn play, like 2007, where I think that was a tie game, like clock running down. You decide to just throw like a 30-yard touchdown pass with like a second left or something, like just the weirdest thing ever. But yeah, it was definitely calculated because of what Auburn's offense is. And I mean, I don't know what the probability with the analytics say, but like 3-4 minutes left, like a 7-point lead is a lot safer than a 3-point lead for sure. So I mean, it wasn't like necessarily just a wild decision. I think there's definitely some calculation there.
Yeah, what a win for him and for Ty Simpson. Isaiah Horton, 3 TDs in this game. They got going on the ground again, which is important for Bama, but great atmosphere. Iron Bowl never disappoints. I thought Ashton Daniels was impressive on the ground. Like something I wrote down was he could be really fun at Arkansas next year. Like he needs to just go find Bobby Petrino, wherever Bobby Petrino goes, and just be his quarterback, wherever that is. Like he can do some stuff with his legs. You know, he is. I'm not sure about
Alex Golish is coming in.
Yeah, but you got Deuce Knight. Like you gotta move into the Deuce Knight. Or I feel like he's not gonna bring Bynum Brown. Is he got another year of eligibility? The USF kid?
Oh, I don't know.
Byron Brown. Let's see. What is he?
But yeah, while you look that up, I think it was
he's
just
a
strange.
Senior, but I don't know if he's a 4-year senior or what.
Okay. But it was just a very strange game, just how it went. Like Auburn has not been run on by anybody, and Ty Simpson struggled, and you were able to run the ball against Auburn. Like it was a very strange game. It seemed like Auburn made the couple big plays that you'd think if they're going to upset Alabama, they have to make these couple big plays. And man, they almost did it.
Yeah, he has 1 more year of eligibility, so he could go. But it that'd be interesting if they went Brown or Deuce Knight. That'll be because you probably can't keep both, I would imagine.
Yeah, probably not.
So that could be interesting. But great showing by Auburn. Great showing. They pushed Alabama to the very end. Feel bad for Cam Coleman on that fumble getting pushed out because Auburn was driving, man. Like Auburn was moving the ball down the field, and you were like, I don't know, man. It was the Tony Romo. I don't know, Jim, if they're going to do it, but
that was probably the best one of those you've done, to be honest. But I would say that if he didn't deserve to fumble that, like he deserved to fumble that. What are you doing? Go out of bounds. You picked up like 8 yards on that play. Like, I don't know why you're trying to cut that back to the middle. Like, you need to stop the clock. I don't know there's like 20 seconds left, 30 seconds left at that point. Like, where they would have been at like the 22-yard line. Like you were in, like, that was a play. That was a successful play that you get out of bounds, stop the clock. Like, I don't know what he's doing trying to cut that back there. Probably just didn't get the ball enough. So he's trying to make plays when he did have it.
Well, Matt Green, final one.
Hold on.
Michigan.
You're not getting the ball
They
enough. Are we gonna talk about Ryan Williams? Is he gone?
Yeah, I don't know.
What's
It's
the
been
deal
a
with
weird
Ryan
year.
Williams? No targets?
It's been a weird year for Ryan Williams.
Yeah, very strange.
Well, final one here. Michigan, they get finally beaten by the Ohio State Buckeyes. The streak is over. The Buckeyes do it in the cold, frigid elements in Ann Arbor. They were in control really throughout this entire football game. Matt Green, Julian saying something I wrote down, like he really does throw like my favorite ball, I think, in college football right now. Like
Great
he is
balls. So great balls.
great balls, and it's fun, man. Like he is a fun quarterback to watch. Like he had that pick early, but man, it's pretty. He hits guys in stride. Like there's just a lot to like about Julian Sayin. Like he's just one of those 5-star guys who I just think, yeah, he's gonna work out. Like it's just you never know with these kids. And I feel like Julian Sayin is going to be playing on Sundays for a long time. I mean, he's a good player, man. And he and the Ohio State Buckeyes coasted to end that streak. I mean, he hits Carnell Tate deep at one point. I think Ennis got in on the action at one point, but I mean, 3.5 yards per attempt through the air for Bryce Underwood. It's just, you watch this game and it just, Michigan all year, they just have not had the horses, right? Like they have not, Haynes going down for the year or whenever that was, like that's been tough for them. I mean, he was having a great breakout year for the Wolverines, but they just don't have the tight ends, the wide receivers. They just, especially the wide receivers, like there is just nobody on the outside and the perimeter who put a lot of fear in defenses. And Ohio State was never worried about Michigan getting back into that game with chunk plays, right? Like that was just my thing. It's like this offense is just, they got some work to do this offseason. They've got to juice this thing back up for Underwood going into year 2 because he has not have nearly enough help to make this all work.
Yeah, for sure. And also Bryce Underwood, I don't know. I'm not as high on 5-star quarterbacks as I once was. It seems like we're seeing more and more. Julian Sayin looks as good as advertised.
A lot more talent though around Julian Sayin.
No, that's fair. It seems like we're seeing more and more guys like you at least got to give them a few years before you really know, because a lot of these guys don't appear to be ready to play right away. 8 of 18 for 63 yards. Obviously, Ohio State's got a great defense. It was snowing. It's hard for me to say they coasted because Michigan played like a perfect first half. Like it felt like if they were going to upset Ohio State, they were doing all the things they had to do. And with that said, it was 17-9. You just knew this game's over. Like this first half went as good as it could possibly go for Michigan. And it's 17-9. Like they're still losing. Like both teams have scored 3 times. They've scored 3 field goals. Honestly, you knew they weren't going to win after they got that pick. When they got the pick early and only got 3 points out of it, it's like you can't beat Ohio State with field goals. Like you're upset. You've dominated the first quarter of the game, 10 minutes of the game, and you're up 6-0. Ohio State scores 1 time and you're losing now. It just, you could tell they were scoring field goals instead of touchdowns. And no one likes Ohio State, right? No one wants to give Ohio State credit. But I do have to shout out Brutus for his rivalry antics in this game. I think 10 out of 10 for Brutus. You know, writing the script Ohio on the field, as well as Xing out the M. Have whatever opinion you want about Ohio State with the X's over every M on campus and that whole tradition. It's kind of obnoxious, but to actually do it on the field on that M, that's pretty elite stuff by Brutus. So I don't know how they determine mascot of the year in these Capital One. Is it always Capital One mascot of the year and stuff, those commercials? But Brutus has got to be in the running just for that performance against Michigan.
But hat tip to Ohio State, hat tip to Indiana, blowing out Purdue. They finish undefeated. Hat tip to a lot of teams around the country here.
I want to throw one more game though, because of a comment you said earlier, sir. And I think we might have some differing opinions here. My favorite team in college football, sir, outside of the Georgia Bulldogs, of course, the Oklahoma Sooners, man, just finding a way to get it done, man. I'm all about this team. They have an identity. They play elite defense, and they have a quarterback who sometimes makes plays. Sometimes he finds, I forget his first name, Satania, Sometimes he finds him for one big play a game. But yeah, Oklahoma, I just love the DNA of this team. I want to see who they get matched up with. They could get matched up with the wrong team and lose by 4 touchdowns, but
I don't think they could lose by 4
go...
touchdowns. Their defense is too good.
Oh, that's fair. But I mean, they could get blown out by someone who, they get in a boat race. But you're probably right. When you have a defense that good, you're probably going to be in every game you play. When you have an offense that bad, you're probably going to be in every game you play. But I don't know. I'm just really excited to see who Oklahoma plays in the playoff because this team's a lot of fun, and I'm here for the 2025 Sooners.
I'd rather see Vandy or Miami in that spot.
Strong disagree. I think both of those teams deserve to be one of the 12 teams, but I mean, Miami needs to be in over Notre Dame. That just needs to be. I don't know where you stand on Miami and Notre Dame, but
no, Miami should be in. There's no case for Notre Dame in over Miami if it comes down to those two.
And I love how people were talking this week. It's like, I really want to see what they do versus Pittsburgh. After what Notre Dame did against Pitt a couple weeks ago, I think this is really important for Miami to flex against Pitt. Like, they literally beat them. We don't have to compare them with a third team. They played on the field and they beat them. But yeah, I'm with you. I think they're more dangerous, definitely, than whoever the ACC champion is and the G5 team, and probably Notre Dame. But yeah. Shout out to the Oklahoma Sooners, man. Just finding a way to get things done. What was it? 17-13. Like, you knew it was like, what? They're down 3, got the ball late. They're going to find a way to win.
Matt Green, what can the good folks check out from you and the team over at Georgia Voice College Football this week?
We're going live every Monday, 7:00 Eastern time, and also some sort of thing going on Tuesday with the Alabama folks on Voice of College Football. We're talking SEC championship and that sort of stuff, and also post-game instant reaction on Saturday. So yeah, check us out. It'll be a busy week. Georgia, Alabama, back in the SEC championship. All the craziness of the SEC season, all the parity, most parity ever in an SEC season. And we just end up with the old reliable Georgia versus Alabama in the title game.
Matt Green, always a pleasure. And I'll talk to you again in a couple days.
Yes, sir.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.